All right, hi, everybody. It is our second update on this Thursday evening as we're tracking some severe storms drawing closer to the western part of our viewing area. We had some on the eastern side, now a little bit on the western side, a lot of activity to our south, but we're kind of just dealing with the far northern fringe of the activity that you're seeing on the screen right there. We've had reports south of us near the Birmingham metro area this afternoon. They had some tornado damage there. A lot of reports of large hail. And this storm right there, that's prompted this new warning out for southern Franklin and far northwestern Jackson. It's a tiny storm, but it's one that nevertheless could produce some hail. We've already seen some reports of that, upwards of about an inch in diameter, which is the threshold for a severe storm. And also with that, some strong wind gusts upwards of 60 miles an hour. Same thing with the storm back behind it, right along it just west of I-65. If it holds together, moves east, it may also pose a threat to Franklin County. Now, if you're watching our previous update, again, all this activity to the south right here is kind of trending more southeast. So it is clipping by southern DeKalb County, but a lot of that is still going to move mainly in this general direction. So we'll watch that as far as any other advisories or warnings for, say, Chattooga a little bit and possibly Floyd. But really, locally, it's just these two here if they hold together. They're, again, cooling of the evening air is helping stabilize things just a bit. And we do have a little bit more stable air over us, but it's a cold front that has an area low pressure along it that's had just enough lift with it to stabilize, keep these storms moving along throughout the evening. But it's not going to be anything that lasts all night long. So you're not going to be having to worry about tracking storms all night long, losing sleep. Just over the next couple of hours, we'll watch these two move on by. And even as all of this moves east, yeah, you can have rain, little lightning, thunder, a little noisy in parts of DeKalb and Chattooga and Walker and Gordon. But at this point, not a severe nature. Most of that push of activity moving more to the south and to the east. So let's go ahead and focus on this storm. It is a really small one, but if you look at that where there's high reflectivity, I'll pause it here. You see where it's well, computer doesn't want to pause on me there. Still doesn't want to pause. How about now? There we go. Okay. So you see where that white pink is? That's high reflectivity. And that means more than likely those are hailstones. And if you look at the hail size, let me make these things disappear just for a second. We'll go to our hail tracker. And it'll take a second for it to pop up there. I'll move that polygon so you can see a little bit better. You can see right where that hail core was, right there, just before it's about to enter the higher terrain there. Here's Newmarket, and just near the state line. So here's Franklin County here. Here's Jackson, the border with Jackson County. So just a few moments ago in the latest scan, that had diameter up close to an inch. So we can say that's about the size of a quarter. So it's still being a hail producer. And notice over the past hour, it was producing, at least had the potential to produce hail a little bit larger, now coming down just a bit. So the lower in the size it can go, the weaker it might be getting. But we'll have to see what happens with anything, any terrain features here moving into Jackson County and on into Franklin County. But again, hail with that particular cell right there, the reason why it is a warned storm, a severe thunderstorm warned storm. All right, let me put the radar back up here real quickly. And the polygons. There we go. So as you can see, that core of that hail is right there near Newmarket where the high reflectivity is, and the storm itself moving away to the north and east. As far as wind with this, velocity scans have not been too impressive with it. It still could produce gusts upwards of 60. We're going to take a look at just a little bit here. You got some gusts 30 just above the surface. And same thing just north of Newmarket. But again, that hail may be disguising some of that just a little bit. But there's the extent of the polygon with this. It extends throughout the high top radar site. It is north of Scottsboro. So Scottsboro not involved in this warning. And it does extend into far southwestern Franklin County. But for you folks in Suwannee, Mott Eagle, Winchester, not under the warning at the moment, but keep an eye on it because you can see the movement right there. Generally off to the east at about 25. I think that was the last forward speed. Yeah. And that's out till 9:45 Eastern, 8:45 Central. We'll do a quick scan on this and show you an estimate time of arrival. Pull out the tracker here. Kind of moving slightly northeast just a little bit. So there's a movement over the next hour. And so it'll be moving through that polygon. It could be very close to Stevenson in about an hour, which would be close to 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 Central. Estill Fork is here, Princeton. Gaunce, if I'm saying that right. I've lived here all of my life. I've not heard of that one. If there's a correct pronunciation, let me know. That's crazy. I've lived here many years. That's the first time for that one in the Franklin County. So, Orm over in here, but not that one. Okay. Anyway, you have the high top radar site. It'll be moving over that around 8:24, Estill Fork 8:14. These are all CT Central Time. And we'll see what happens if it holds together for southern Marion County. So let's keep an eye on that for Stevenson, Jasper, if it holds together and moves that way. As far as Chattanooga, someone just asked that question. It all depends on if this holds together. The thinking is there'll be some gradual weakening with that with time as it moves to the east. So there'll be some rain coming in with this, but this is not a all night long type of severe event. And it's really just two individual cells that we're watching possibly that can impact us locally if they hold together. It's that one, then the one behind it here near Elkton moving across I-65. And there's a movement of both. These kind of broke away from the pack, so to speak. Yet everybody else, all these other storms down here, and I'll circle these. Computer being a little testy with me tonight. Anyway, here's the main area storms. And these are trending away from most of our viewing area, moving more southeast. Yeah, it's clipping DeKalb County, but not the severe aspect of it. And these kind of broke away from it. And it's right where an area low pressure, allowing a little bit more lift a bit and pushing those farther north. So we'll watch those two cells. Aside from that, we're going to see some rain, heavy downpours across Chattooga, Floyd, Gordon, DeKalb, Southern Jackson. But I think the severe aspect of those are more toward Gadsden and sinking farther down to the south. Rest of us showers, and we'll see again how far and how long those hold together there. I think Franklin, the far western tip of Franklin, now under a new warning here, right there near Huntland. So that's a new warning there that popped up. That'll be out till 10 o'clock Eastern. Again, it's the same thing. 60-mile-an-hour gusts, possibly quarter-size hail, and that one moving east at 30. So a little bit more forward speed with that one. All right, let me show you. If you go to our website, newschannel9.com, you follow me on digital, you've probably seen this earlier on. This is some of the storm damage that was seen near Pinson, Alabama. That's in Jefferson County. That was around 4:40 Eastern time this afternoon. And that activity, as you can see, trees are down, some power lines down, but we got a whole story on newschannel9.com. And roughly the report is out of Pinson, about 20 homes damaged from that confirmed tornado in Pinson. That's in Jefferson County. And calls from damage came in around 4:30 Eastern impacted area. If you're familiar with that area, Main Street from City Hall and north on Silver Lake Road there in Pinson, Alabama. National Weather Service Birmingham confirmed that the storm was a tornado, downing several power lines and trees along its path through Pinson. So that, again, is on newschannel9.com. And I'm going to take this down for just a second. And go back to our radar view here real quickly. Let's make that a little bit bigger. Me smaller, radar bigger. And I'll show you some of the damage reports so far with this system. And you can see all of these are hail reports. All of these are hail. And then there's that tornado report. That gives you an idea in what part of Jefferson County that was. It was northeast of Birmingham. Pinson, Trussville area, if you're familiar with that, that's where that was. All these other are wind and hail reports. And as you can see, the storms that have made their way earlier on and continuing right along, is that 278 right there? If we're Brooksville to Gadsden, several reports of hail there. And if you go around the Huntsville metro, just to give you an idea of the size of the hail, In Madison County, just about an hour ago, that'd be 8:30 Eastern, about 1-inch diameter hail, about the size of a quarter in Madison. That is Madison County, not Madison, Alabama, two separate things. We'll go back closer to I-65, and this is near Harvest in Limestone County, about the same thing, 1-inch diameter hail. So that is what we're seeing with fairly consistent with these two storms prompting the warnings here for Franklin and Jackson, is that these two could be producing quarter-size hail. They're very small storms, but in this case, sometimes they pack a strong punch. And some of the hail has been larger. I've seen some of the impressive pictures coming out of central and southern Alabama, some larger hail, south of Birmingham, more toward the Montgomery area. So really impressive storms. Thankfully, we're not dealing with a large number, just what you see here with these two moving by. But again, we just looked at the hail core with that one. That one has potential up to 1 inch in diameter. Let's take a look at this one near Elkton that with time could impact Franklin County. Again, let me take a look at both of them. We'll look at the hail, put our hail tracker on there, isolate a few layers so you can kind of see a little bit better. And you can see it right there. So the one storm there, we're seeing that hail core weaken a bit. Hopeful that trend continues. But that one there is still pretty impressive there near Ardmore, near I-65. Let's pause that. Let's take a look at it real quickly. Here's just a potential hail size for the storm near Elkton. Well over 1 inch. So a little bit bigger than a quarter, not quite $half, but still that's pretty impressive with that storm there. So that hail core is a little bit larger. This one has thankfully gotten a little smaller, but still that dark blue indicates upwards of about 1 inch in diameter. I'll slow it down here. And you can see how it was a little bit larger hail core than Newmarket, shrinking just a little bit, but still it's up around 1 inch. It's about the size of a quarter. And again, 1 inch diameter is the threshold for a severe thunderstorm. So again, that shows you the core of those storms where they're moving. Both of those could impact with time parts of Franklin County. All right, let's put our polygons radar back up there. There you have it. And you can see now, anytime you see that pink and white, that's that high reflectivity. That's right where the hail would be, right there, right near the county line. And about to cross the state line into Tennessee. Still technically, well, I would say in the next few minutes getting into Franklin County south of Huntland. So you have two overlapping polygons there in the south and western part of Franklin County. And then this gives you some perspective from Chattanooga. It will roughly be about 50 miles away, but it's only moving 25 miles an hour. So we'll have to see, first of all, if it holds together, imposing a hail threat. We do anticipate a little bit of weakening with time. But all this activity down to the south, there are now fewer warnings. There's one warning here near Gadsden, but all these others are advisories, indicating that the storms are kind of getting below severe threshold. So they're worthy of an advisory, just not as big hail producers, not as big wind producers. So they're staying just below severe threshold. And all of those, notice the movement. Notice the movement. Are they moving north? No, they're moving that way, moving southeast away. So primarily the cells we're watching locally for any strength are these right here. Okay. And what's generating all of this is a cold front. I don't know why the map features want to keep bouncing back and forth. But anyway, you can see how that front lies. When it's kind of rotating through where the positions are in the front. You see the front's right here. So because of that, that's why these two are kind of broken away from the pack, and the others are sinking more to the south and east. As that front continues sinking south and east, with that, it's going to push those showers and storms farther away to the south and east. So here's our high-res model. Estimate around 10:30 Eastern. And you can see there's going to be quite a bit of rain going on. And really, it's a sharp drop-off. You know, you go north of the state line, hardly anything. South of the state line, more heavy downpours. But notice the trend 10:30 to around midnight, still some rain, but probably not severe. And then you get past midnight, it all just moves away really quickly. So this is not something, again, that's going to last all night long. That's the high res. If you're familiar with model tracking, the HRRR model, if you will, our in-house future track model shows it breaking away pretty quickly before 11 o'clock. So we'll see which model is correct. Either way, you see the trend there. They may be different in timing, but they're similar in direction. Okay, they're all moving more toward the south and east. So you get past midnight, things will start clearing out. And by tomorrow morning, you're just talking about fog. So again, for those who have maybe some storm anxiety, this is not something to keep you up all night long. Okay, and nor will it be a slow moving system. It's actually going to be pretty fast moving. And then tomorrow, no storms. Next 3 days, nothing to worry about. Temperatures upper 60s tomorrow, looking good. Saturday morning, chilly, and then Saturday afternoon, look at that, low 70s for the final day of February. And just so you know, March will come in like a lamb on Sunday. And you know what that means. Yeah, at some point, that lion of March is going to roar during the month, as it always does. March is one of those tricky weather months. You got to take it one day at a time. That's all we can do. All right, there you go. Here's a live radar view again. Again, you can see all of this activity here. I want to point this out again. All of this here is moving south and east. These two that we're watching more east, it's just slightly northeast a bit. So we've got the warnings out for Jackson County, the far northwest corner. It's north of Scottsboro, but it could impact Stevenson. It's for the western and southwestern part of Franklin County. So heads up in Marion. Heads up the rest of Franklin, especially for this one. This one's had more of a hail core than this one. And I'll have to see how much it holds together. There's been a little less lightning over the past hour or two, indicating a little bit of severity breakdown just a bit. Let me check the echo tops here. Let's see how if they're coming down or increasing a bit. Looking at another screen, they were actually coming down just a bit. So that's at least a little bit of good news there. Hey, Mal, what you got? Yes, absolutely. Thanks, buddy. All right, let's track this one again. So once again, this warning for this part of Franklin and Jackson out till 8:45 Central, 9:45 Eastern, roughly the next 35 minutes. Do a quick tracker on this one. So the next hour, it'll outpace the polygon. But again, that polygon was issued about 30 minutes ago. So Estill Fork, Orem, which I mentioned a few minutes ago, it could reach into Marion County, which would be just after the 10 o'clock Eastern time hour. So notice again, all those times are all Central Time. Moving east, so High Top, Estill Fork, and Orem by then. Moving right along the state line, Tennessee-Alabama border, right there with southern Franklin and the northern part of Jackson County. Still staying well north of Scottsboro, but could impact near Stevenson. Here's 72 right here. Here's I-24. All right, let's track the one behind it. At the moment, it's the one that's a little bit more impressive, just a little bit. So that was maybe east of 30. So if you can read those again are all Central Time. Notice see CT right there. So Flintville around 8:40, that's on the far eastern edge of the county before it reaches into Franklin. So it's probably going to be closer to the 9 o'clock Central, 10 o'clock Eastern hour if that holds together. It's in Ardmore now if it'll make it into Western Franklin. So it's probably going to be in that 10 o'clock Eastern time hour if it reaches there. And we'll have to see if this storm has any more impacts. Does it help stabilize the atmosphere a bit in advance of it? We'll have to see. But it is just a little bit farther north of there, this one, but moving east about 30. So there's a Flintville, Huntland, and Fayetteville. where that's going to reach. So a potential of 1-inch diameter hail and some potential strong wind gust with that cell. I've got the lightning turned on, but you'll notice, there's not as much lightning with this as there once was. Your hazel green kind of moving away a bit. I mean, that's a strength indicator, maybe weakening a bit. We certainly hope that's the case. We don't want anything severe. I know some folks who love storms, but me not so much. Not with severe storms. Don't want to see that. Good old general thunderstorm I'm okay with, but not severe. And then all of these, again, I mentioned the phrasing. These two are broken away from the pack. All of this here is drifting more to the south and east. It's going to get pretty noisy here from the Weiss Lake, Galesville Center area into Floyd County. So for you folks in Floyd County, while not severe, it's noisy. Quite a bit of rain and loud claps of thunder. That's over near Cave Spring. And it's just west of 27. Staying just south of Somerville, south of Fort Payne. But say Crossville, down to the Weiss Lake area here, and to Gadsden, pretty noisy there. That'll make its way toward Piedmont, Cedartown, Rockmart, and all those areas just north of I-20 into Georgia. But staying south of Fort Payne and Somerville for the most part. You got rain in Somerville, rain in Lafayette, nothing severe. Nothing severe with that. Just some good rain that we need. Same thing in Scottsboro, moderate showers, not severe. The severe cells are to your north. So again, this is not a big widespread. It's not going to encompass miles of our viewing area. It's really just going to be more isolated areas that it moves through. Let's see. Let's check some of the comments here. All right. Clay has a birthday on March 3rd. Well, happy birthday. Early birthday, Clay. Thanks for checking in tonight. Hope you have a great birthday next week. Weather looks okay. There might be a few showers then. A lot of clouds, too. I think there's that lunar eclipse that morning. Clouds may obscure that, but we're going to watch that the next several days. Let's see. Checking out the questions here. A lot of folks just asking about their particular town, and hopefully, as I've taken you on the tour around, you've kind of seen, what to anticipate. Basically, for Chattanooga, if these hold together, we'll get some downpours from that, the way it's trending to the east. But it's all a matter of if it'll hold together. Again, when the east moving at 25, it's going to take a while. If it got here, it would be, about 50 miles away. So at the earliest, it'd be after the 11 o'clock hour. If the strength holds together, it can still be producing some rain. So I think we're going to have some downpours around the city potentially during the 11 o'clock hour. What's left of that cell. And we hope there's a weakening trend with that. And again, I'll go back to this map. It's been a very busy day all across, mostly Alabama. There's been some reports into Georgia, but I'll back out. Look at all these reports here. From Memphis to Tupelo, and you go Birmingham to Huntsville. This has been a big old hail-producing system. Some wind damage reports, and again, that tornado damage reports that I showed you is on our website at newschannel9.com. You can check that story out. You also go to my Facebook page. I have a link to that story. Talk about the damage in Pinson. All of these are all hail reports. Even a little bit here, that was that warned storm on our previous storm tracking south of Gilmer County, over near the Talking Rock area east of Fairmont. So, been a pretty busy night. And again, you can see this tan shaded polygon is for a non-severe system. It's more of a special weather statement. These storms are kind of dropping away to the south and east, but producing a lot of rain from Coleman, Adiana, Gadsden, down to Jacksonville, near my alma mater, Jack State. It's getting a rainy night there. You can see more heavy rain all the way to Cedartown and Rome. Again, not severe, but pretty noisy in those areas. Yeah. Let's see. And the second part is all right. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Thank you.
Yep. We're just getting ready for our Fox 10 o'clock newscast. About 45 minutes. We'll be on live with an update with the radar and the forecast, and same thing at News Channel 9 to 11. So this is just another way we can reach everybody away from a newscast. And if you haven't signed up for my live streams before, do so. We've been doing live streams since Facebook allowed live. I got a YouTube channel, so feel free. I'll show you all my channels. Let's see. Got an updated graphic here. I'll show them to you. So if you haven't signed up for these or subscribe, please do so. Let's see. Yeah, that was already on today. Sorry about that. That's the wrong graphic. That was already on today. My bad. Ignore that. I was trying to show a different graphic, but that was not the right one. There we go. Yeah, ignore that last graphic. I was going to show you the page to my social media page, but I think that graphic did expire. I take it out of my show? Surely not. I must have taken it out. Hang on. I'll bring it up here. Give me just 1 second. Sometimes I take graphics out, but that one should have stayed in there. Here we go. Now then, if you haven't followed me on social media, you can do so at these page links right here. There you have it. Again, mostly it's the same name, like on Instagram and TikTok, it's under the same name, Storm Track 9 Dave, David Glenn, WTVC, on X, Facebook, and also on YouTube. So if you haven't signed up yet, please feel free to do so. And you'll get alerted when we do these live streams like we're doing tonight. So anyway, there you go. Sorry about that. That earlier graphic was from last night, so not valid today. I mean, it's still valid because we said the storms will stick around through the evening, so that's okay. Now let's go back to the radar view. Okay, still a little bit of lightning there just near the high top radar sites. It may start obscuring some of the returns. See, you see some of the outlines. You can see the radius around the radar. So it's going to look a little weird over the next hour or so as it goes over the donut of the high top radar site. So there could be some blackout here, not being able to see everything, but you can still see some good reflectivity there into south of Huntland, right in the southern corner of Franklin County. Still indicative of some hail being produced with that storm. And the same thing with this one. It's a long way off. It's still west of 231. I'm showing you that because the far western edge of Franklin is under that severe thunderstorm warning with that particular warning cell. So those are the two that we're watching locally that could provide parts of our viewing area. Jackson, Franklin, maybe Marion, with some hail as it moves on through. Again, they're very compact storms. They're not moving all that fast. There's more activity to the south, but again, it's mainly wet and noisy than it is severe. But we're hopeful these two will continue a gradual weakening trend, but still definitely hail producers at the moment, producing upwards of about a 1-inch diameter hail. Rest of the viewing area, pretty quiet. Murphy, I had one person noted they saw lightning. Yes, you probably saw the lightning from that cell to your south as it passed on by. So you probably saw it on the horizon to the south with that. That was one severe storm that caused a warning in Gilmer and Fannin, moved through Dawson County. If that's the one you probably saw some lightning from, now it's moving towards Helen away. But again, near Murphy, you haven't had any activity going on, but that's where the lightning came from. So again, at night, you can see lightning a long way away. Now, there's actually a lot of lightning going on. Cave Spring to Rome and Floyd County. Again, it's all below severe levels, but pretty noisy. Somerville, you're no doubt seeing some lightning on the southern horizon. But again, not severe near you. It is raining, though. Moderate downpours at times across parts of DeKalb, across parts of Jackson County, across Walker County near Lafayette. Mainly dry at Chickamauga, but you go farther south, you run into some downpours. Little light rain in Dalton, but none of this is severe. So we're not looking, this is not a widespread severe system. Okay, very isolated. And it's mainly those two cells right there. Again, that warning right there out till 45 minutes after the hour. We'll see as it gets closer to the edge of the polygon, do they extend that warning for eastern parts of Franklin? Does it include parts of Marion? We'll see with time if it edges away to the east. Look at the last update on that. And then this one back behind it, which includes the far western edge of Franklin, that one's out till the top of the hour, 9 Central, 10 Eastern. Check this one. I would just say parts of our region. Yeah, so it is a lot of it's south, but some of this is now coming in from the west. So if you put parts, that's fine. And I'll clarify when we get there. Yeah, thanks, man. Looking over some of the comments here. Yeah, folks. Trying to isolate this down to individual areas is going to be kind of tough. I'm just watching these two. Now, I've had a lot of folks asking, about Dalton. I don't think Dalton, Lafayette, Summer will be impacted by these two storms. I do think some downpours and lightning will come in, but I really think if these hold together, this can be primarily something from Marion County, maybe into the city. If it holds together, I think the residual rain from it, we'll have to see if it holds together with strength. Okay. So just kind of follow along. And everyone's got the question, what about my hometown? So you kind of follow along what we're showing here. You kind of get the general idea of what's going to happen. I think the more north you are of the city, the less impacts from this system. Okay. So again, this is not that widespread. These are tiny isolated storms, and there's much more activity farther south, which will start, as I said, going through parts of Chattooga, Gordon, Floyd County, parts of Walker, primarily with rain and some occasional lightning, but at this point, not severe. I think the same thing for Dalton at this point. You can see really noisy there. Between Coleman, Gadsden, things are a little bit quieter toward Birmingham for the moment. And there you can see a lot of lightning and rain and in Rome, right along Highway 411, used to be Highway 20 right there. And as we approach about 20 minutes from the expiration of this polygon, let's again do another scan on this one. And this one's moving a little bit more northeast a bit. So heads up in Marion County. Can you read that? Yeah. So notice all these are central time, but again, Sherwood here in far eastern Franklin County around 8:50 Central, 9:50 Eastern. Orem at the top of the hour, which is right here, South Pitt around 9:14 Central. So you're going to start hearing that thunder in the distance. Heavy downpours of rain are possible. Still getting a little hail core right there, and even some stronger wind gusts with that. It's a small storm, but it's one that, again, could provide these areas with at least some very heavy rain, winds picking up, and at least a chance for some small hail as it moves on by. So heads up in Marion County, just be aware of that as it moves through right along the Tennessee-Alabama border between Franklin and Jackson near the high top radar site. But in Marion County, near the top of the hour, that's when that 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 Central, you can anticipate some of those conditions moving through those areas right along and just south of I-24. Hillary, no, these particular cells we're watching have not been tornado producers, thankfully, and we certainly hope it stays that way. The only tornado damage has been near Jefferson County, Alabama. That was at about 4:30 this afternoon. So those storms not impacting us. Those tornadic producing storms stayed south and are moving farther away. These aren't the same ones. Okay. Same frontal system, but not the same cluster of storms that caused the damage. And you can see, if you just kind of pan out here, and you can see that the storms we're watching currently right here is just the far northern fringe, kind of the tip of the iceberg. Everything else is way down here and all having a general movement now this way. Even the storms in Mississippi got a squall line there. They're moving more toward the south and east a bit. So more toward that way. So locally, what we're dealing with is kind of watching these two that are kind of broken away from the pack there just a little bit. But it's right when area low pressure is moving along, kind of push that, had that northerly push with it, and then kind of push them down to the south and east. Kind of flush it out with the cold front. There's the front. So actually, we're kind of north of it in Chattanooga, but still just enough here. When you get that low right there, it's just enough of a push. Just enough. Kind of overriding the front there just a little bit. And then back here, curls back around the low, and the surface will kick it more toward the south. And you saw the storms are moving more in that general direction. And right along the stalled fronts where the very heavy rain is, but it's all kind of moving along to the east. So Atlanta's going to get a lot of heavy rain right around midnight or so. And so when asking about Mount Eagle, well, Mount Eagle's here, right here. So this cell right there might just stay just south of Mount Eagle. But I do see it impacting, at least moving through southeastern Franklin and on into southern Marion. We'll see, since it's now starting to outpace this polygon, we'll see if there's an extension of at least an advisory with that. Because this warning here expires at 9:45 and it's starting to move out of that polygon. So they may start extending something here with it holding together. Same thing with this cell here, well west of Franklin County. But again, it's one that if it holds together could start entering the western part. It's the area west of the plateau. Okay. Starting to see some lightning show back up with this. That's the high top radar side. That's why you're starting to see some like a radial type of spikes going on there. It's because it's near the radar site. That's all that means. Yeah, still getting that dark blue. This is hail. So that's indicating still an inch, just over an inch, about the size of a quarter. So it's maintaining that severe potential. It's now 1.5 inches above the surface. So that's still a severe storm. No real terrain impacts there as it moves over the ridge and valley landscape there along the Tennessee-Alabama border. Pan back to the left. And just to give you an idea of both of them movement, those are the hail cores of both. Yeah, that one had a little bit of weakening, now kind of maintaining itself. And again, farther south of these areas, if you can draw a line from Scottsboro to Lafayette, all of this area, okay, this is all not severe. Heavy downpours, a little noisy, but not severe in nature, okay? So, especially in parts of Floyd County And you're probably seeing the lightning in Chattooga County looking south. Even southern Walker County, you see that lightning to the south of you. And even a little bit of lightning north and west with those cells that are along the Jackson and Franklin County border. But those two are the strongest at the moment. And of course, they're kind of knocking on the door to the western part of our viewing area. Once again, I want to show you, if you go to newschannel9.com, there's a whole update there on the damage in Pinson, Alabama, which is in Jefferson County, northeast of Birmingham, northeast of downtown Birmingham, near Trussville. 20 homes damaged. That was during the storms around 4:30 this afternoon, 4:40 officially. But again, those storms did not move our way, and that's not what these storms are. Those storms moved farther away to the south. Thankfully, we didn't have to deal with that. But it's very similar with the front coming in that's generating these storms. So similar with the frontal system, but not the same storms coming in. But check that out at newschannel9.com. And of course, we'll talk more about that coming up in a few minutes on Fox Chattanooga at 10 and News Channel 9 at 11. Again, here's the latest high-res model update. These update every hour. And it shows you between now and midnight. Again, I'm not sure it's taking into account that cell here really well. Let me back it up just a little bit. Yeah, I don't think it is. So I would guesstimate there's still going to be some activity around the city and north close to midnight. But a lot of downpours, though, staying below severe levels to the south. And once you get past midnight, it all moves away really quickly as the front moves on by. So that's the latest high-res model outlook. So this is not something that lasts all night long, okay? Basically, once those two cells weaken, whenever it happens, we'll see the severe threat die down and things start to improve. But they've not improved yet. And, you just have to be mindful. These are tiny storms, but you got hail in them. It's pretty dangerous. All right, here's an update. They just extended that polygon. Now, if you look at this, it's oddly shaped. The reason it's oddly shaped is Marion County gets its warnings, its jurisdiction is by the National Weather Service in Morristown, Tennessee. Franklin and Jackson County is the jurisdiction of the National Weather Service in Huntsville. So Huntsville has extended the warning to the counties that they cover, and that's why it has an odd shape to it. It does not mean the storm will not move into Marion. It just means at the moment, the National Weather Service in Morristown has not extended a warning for them yet. Okay, so it's a real odd looking shape, but that's the reason why. But anyway, this is probably going to go to the top of the hour, or a little bit after. So this will take us to about 9:15 Central, 10:15 Eastern. That's severe thunderstorm warning for Franklin and Jackson County. In our region, the narrative here, wind gusts of 60 mile an hour possible, and small pea to dime size hail is like, so some quarter size hail possible, but in larger quantities, the pea size to dime size hail. So right now the storm just 12 miles south of Winchester, moving east at 30 miles an hour. So again, that's for north central Jackson, southeastern Franklin County. Again, it's an oddball looking warning polygon, but that's because it's reaching the border between the National Weather Service Huntsville and the National Weather Service in Morristown. We'll probably see an extension of that. But either way, this new warning, which now includes Suwannee down to the state line, doesn't include Stevenson. I think it's going to float just north of Stevenson. That's out till 10:15 Eastern. So moving east at 30. Let's do a quick scan again. Quick tracker. This is the potential movement over the next hour. All still Central Time. South Pitt, just after the top of the hour. That's 9:08 Central, 10:08 Eastern. Long Island, 10:15 Eastern. East Hill, which is in Marion County, 9:24. That's not far from Jasper, I think. So we'll see if that holds together. But heavy downpours of rain, lightning, and the potential for some small hail is possible as this storm passes through Sherwood, north of High Top, north of Bridgeport. Bridgeport, I think, is in that polygon. Yeah, Bridgeport and South Pittsburgh South Pitt not in the polygon yet as far as the warning, but you're in the path that I'm drawing here over the next hour. And then this one, we'll track this one also because it'll be potentially getting into parts of Franklin County in the next hour. And you can see near Winchester, not this one, but this one. So that's going to be near Quarter Crossroads, Winchester by 928 Central. So see if that one holds together. Both of them still being some hail producers right now. And you see this one pulsing a little bit, means there's an update to that warning. So let's take a look at that. I'll read you the text here. Here's an update just issued a few moments ago. Storm itself located near Fayetteville, moving east at 30. 60-mile-an-hour gusts and half-dollar size hail. So again, that 1.5-inch diameter kind of confirming here that we saw on the hail tracker. So half-dollar size hail. The one to the south is producing quarter-size hail, along with a lot of pea and dime-size hail. So it really kind of varies in this one, in this cell here, but that one producing half-dollar size hail just north of Bellevue. So that is still squarely in Moore County, but not quite into Franklin County yet. More in Lincoln County, not quite into Franklin County yet. So we'll see if it holds together and goes into Franklin. But this one, as I just mentioned, that's one we're going to keep an eye on for potentially in South Pittsburgh. We'll see if National Weather Service Morristown does anything as far as an advisory or a warning as this draws closer and closer in the next, say, 15, 20 minutes as it moves to the east. Okay, elsewhere, there are no other warnings. However, you're seeing this decaying line of showers and storms, the strongest of which probably going to trend south of us. So south of Rome, south of Cedartown, south of Gadsden is where the most lightning will take place, but some pretty good moderate downpours. Jackson County, DeKalb, Chattooga, Walker, Whitfield, Gordon, you're going to get some downpours between now, 11 o'clock Eastern, and midnight. But the worst of that there is sinking more to the south a bit. Okay? So you're not seeing the worst of that. Some good old rain. And it's rain we need with many of us in that drought situation. Again, those are the two main cells we're watching that could impact our viewing area, especially this front leading one that's now moving into southern Franklin, just south of Suwanee. And you could start heading into Marion County, just west of I-24, before the top of the hour, 10 Eastern, 9 Central. Be near Sherwood. See if we get my current hail to pop up there. Take the radar down just for a second. Yeah, this is still a good hail producer. So now that's in southern Franklin County. That's half-dollar size with that one. If that's reaching the surface, there might be some melting with it, but at least above the surface, the reflectivity is really high with that. So this over the past hour, you can see it moving along. Now that hail core run along Highway 16, Salt City and Walls of Jericho area there. So Sherwood, just be aware you got a large hail producer coming your way. Again, that's going to be crossing into, I'd say by the top of the hour, into the western part of Marion County. So heads up, there might be at least an advisory or a warning as it gets closer. That'll be up to the National Weather Service in Morristown, if and when they issue that. You see the hail core, that other one, getting a little smaller, at least according to the radar. Hopefully that weakening trend continues, but this one's still pretty robust. It's not a large storm, but don't like the hail production there. So quite a bit of lightning there just west of Sherwood. This is all in southern Franklin County. Check the echo top on this. I'm checking the tops of the storm. That one in Franklin County continues to grow. It's now peaking back out around 30,000 feet. So that one's still an environment of growth. So it's still not, this one is not weakening yet. So this one is not weakening. So I anticipate some advisory or warning at least getting extended into Marion. But of course, again, you're looking at these counties are covered by the National Weather Service: Huntsville, Marion, and points north and east by the National Weather Service in Morristown. So we'll see if they extend that. But with that not weakening, the top continued to climb, and the hail core still producing some very large hail, well exceeding that of a severe thunderstorm. I anticipate some extension there that we'll be tracking. And to the south, again, none of this is severe to the south. It's noisy. Hearing thunder in the distance to the south is very noisy in Rome, but none of that is severe, okay? It's mainly this one. Haven't had any reports of tornadoes with it. That's a good thing. But you still could have a gust of around 60 miles an hour possible. And someone asked me about Walker County. Again, I don't think this one's going to impact Walker. If it does, it'll be kind of the far northern fringe, but most part of Walker, you can be dealing with the moderate downpours of a non-severe nature from these bands coming through. Again, as I've said so often, these two have kind of broken away from the pack. The rest of this is kind of moving down this general direction. A lot of times it can be the individual cell that's going to be stronger than a line of storms. There it is. Not surprised by this at all. There's a new severe thunderstorm warning there from Marion County. If your weather alert radio went off or you got the Storm Track 9 app alerting you, there it is. Severe thunderstorm warning now from Marion and Sequatchie County. Out till 10:45 Eastern, 9:45 Central. Let me give you the text on that. Specifically, that's for southwestern Sequatchie and all of Marion County. The storm located 8 miles south of Cohen, or 11 miles southeast of Winchester, moving northeast at 25. 60-mile-an-hour wind gust and quarter-size hail possible. That warning out till 10:45 Eastern, 9:45 Central. So be aware in Jasper, South Pittsburgh, Whitwell, Kimball, Monteagle, Orem, Martin Springs, Cartwright, and the Fiery Gizzard State Park over the next hour. So no surprise there on when they issued that warning. And you can see it's not quite Dunlap under that warning, but there it is in the southwestern corner of Sequatchie. And pretty much most of Marion, there's a little sliver of it in the eastern side not included. But again, moving northeast at 25, I'll update you on the tracker. Can you see the time there? These are all still central time. So Whitwell by 10:39 Eastern, Jasper by 10:22 Eastern, 9:22 Central, South Pitt around 9:15, about 30 minutes from now. And then the Crossroads right here on the county line, about the next 10 minutes. See, it's not a large storm at all. So the polygon is very, very small here, but Whitwell, Jasper, South Pittsburgh, all in this polygon over the next hour for that severe thunderstorm. You get that new warning out for Marion and just a sliver of Sequatchie out till 10:45 Eastern, 9:45 Central. I'm going to put the tracker on here one more time. What I'm going to do is we got to get ready for our newscast. But not to worry, we're going to continue our stream here. And we'll do our newscast from the streaming center here. If I'm leave this tracker up for just a second, I'm going to go get my IFB where I can listen to my ear, and we'll be right back. But this gives you a timing, where the warnings are, and I'll be right back momentarily. Guys, I'm still streaming, so the mic is hot. I'm going to be in the streaming center while we do this newscast. So, this is my God, IFB. So, just take it. Yeah, and 11, I'm not sure the warnings will need to say the tracking. We've been tracking some severe storms throughout the week. And then all right, and we're back. So what we're going to do, folks, is we're going to continue doing our live stream here. So I want to break away. If you want to watch on air, also you can also do that. But we're trying to do this where we can kind of be on all platforms all at once, so don't have to break away from the live stream and just keep going. So that's what we're going to be doing here. Okay, so again, just to get you caught up on what we're looking at here, this is the path for the next hour. This storm's going to take, it's a severe thunderstorm, one that's producing some large hail, about an inch in diameter. But actually, this one I think had half dollar size hail, which is inch and a half in diameter. The warning into Marion County projects about 1 inch diameter hail, so maybe some weakening, maybe. But right now there hasn't been any signs of that yet. It's still pretty strong storm. But it shows you over the next hour, it could be near Whitwell by 9:40 Central, 10:40 Eastern. Jasper around 10:23 Eastern, 9:23 Central. South Pitt around 9:20 Central. Orm just after the top of the hour. And again, the warning for Marion is in effect until 10:45 Eastern, 9:45 Central. The movement, again, is to the northeast at 25. So it looks like it's going to bypass Stevenson, just kind of the southern part of that near Bridgeport, right over South Pitt. It's going to stay north of Trenton. We'll have to see if it stays on the same kind of, let's kind of draw an imaginary line northeast, just north of Chattanooga. So Whitwell, the crossroads there, Signal, Walden, we'll watch and see if that holds together and kind of moves in that general direction. But just to give you an overall look, again, these are the only, you have a lot of warnings for one storm. It's a small one, and one back here. We'll see if that holds together for Franklin. But all of this activity down here is not too impactful. It's raining, it's loud, but not of a scary nature. Okay, pretty loud in Floyd County, but you're going to get some moderate downpours in Jackson and DeKalb, into Chattooga, Southern Walker. I'd say even toward Dalton, toward Calhoun, and some good downpours and occasionally some loud lightning, but not severe. And then the farther west you go, let me zoom out to the composite radar here. You can see this activity along the main front back here. See, that's kind of lining up right here to a squall line. Notice the movement. See, it's all trending now with the main front, south and east. So it's just it's wild. It's fascinating to watch. These two on the far northern fringe are just feeding off the atmosphere there and staying strong, while the others, for the most part, sinking away with the main front. So as I've used the illustration before, these two have broken away from the pack and moving north and east. So that's why we're tracking them. That's why we're tracking them. So again, less than 10 minutes, we'll start our Fox Chattanooga newscast. We'll stay here live. You'll hear me do the broadcast live for Fox Chattanooga. Then we'll continue live streaming. And I'll also be doing the main forecast. So if you want to stick around the live stream, you'll see the forecast for tomorrow, the nice weather coming up for the weekend, and what we're watching later on over the next several days. And again, just to show you all the hail production here, let's see if any of these are new. I believe this one, maybe that one in New Hope, that's probably pretty recently. Yeah, just before 9 Eastern, that was quarter size hail. Let's check this one. That's in Lincoln County. That was about 9:24. That's about 30 minutes ago. 1-inch diameter hail. That's quarter size hail in Lincoln County. So that's with that cell that's right now to the west. It's in Lincoln County to the west of Franklin. But the one that's moving through Franklin that could be near Marion, that one has also been producing 1-inch diameter hail. And all those hail reports, all the way back to Memphis, and that one tornado report near Pinson and Trussville in Jefferson County, just northeast of Birmingham. And if you watch our Fox Chattanooga newscast or go to newschannelline.com, we've got an update on the damage from that storm there in Pinson. Let me close this door right here. Yep. Yeah, I've got source one over here I can see. Just let me know when you need a mic check. Live behind the scenes, folks. So we've got the setup here. We can do two things at once. One screen over here to my right, which you can see. Where's the camera? There it is. To my right is what's live streaming. Over here is what's going on air. So when the system works great, it's fantastic. You have any? I got you. Mic check 1, 2. All right. So again, it's 9:54 Eastern. We're about 6 minutes away from our Fox Chattanooga newscast, and we'll be doing another live update telling you about what's happening with that storm there, the reason why the warning is in effect. And then about 15 minutes to follow, we'll do the full forecast where you'll see what we're going to anticipate for tomorrow and the weekend, which looks really good. We're going to round out February on a warm note and start March on a calm note, coming in like a lamb. You know what that means later on. March is always a crazy month. And it looks like that storm there in Lincoln County is kind of dying down. Sure wish that one would. But that one seems to be kind of weakening. It got too far away from the pack. This one's still maintaining itself. That's over near Sherwood, just about to cross into Marion County. When it's close to the high top radar site, sometimes you can't really get a good velocity scan with it. You can see a little bit right there near Sherwood. Very strong winds right there. And I'll point out what I'm talking about right in here. So there's still some gusts there above the surface. Let's just give it about close to 40 miles an hour. And then even in the Marion, 35. So some gust above the surface, 35, 40, a little stronger at higher elevation. So it's got some gust potential there. But that's the area that we're watching the wind inside the storm. So you can see the hail core right in here. Strong wind gust with it. Loop it as it comes on through. You can kind of get an idea where the stronger wind gusts are with that. So it's not the whole storm producing all 60. There's some potential gusts to 60 and the hail with that. But that is still a pretty wicked storm. All right, notice this one. I mentioned the weakening. As that storm is now moving out of Lincoln County, Franklin County are now under an advisory. That's a step below severe. That's good. That does mean indicate some weakening. This advisory out until 10:45 Eastern, and could have gusts of 50 to 55 and nickel-size hail. So we're seeing smaller hail, a little bit, not really lighter, but lower wind gusts. So it's just below severe threshold. So that's a good sign that maybe this back edge storm is starting to weaken. Okay, so this warning will be allowed to expire, and then this advisory will take over at the top of the hour. This one continues, and now the storm is now moving into Marion County. So there it is right there. It's a hail producer. It's got potential for very strong wind gusts, and best thing to do is just get to a safe place, let this storm move on by. It's moving northeast at about 30 miles an hour. So all in Marion County, a large part of it, and this little sliver of Sequatchie under this new warning that was issued, it was about 8:45, about 10, 15 minutes ago. It's out till 9:45 Central, 10:45 Eastern. And we'll be starting our newscast momentarily, so you'll be watching along as we track this cell. Again, just to show you again, everybody else from Fort Payne to Lafayette to Somerville, yeah, you can get some moderate downpours, but you're not under a warning, okay? It's noisy, but it's not like that cell in Marion County, okay? Not like that one at all. Those are all kind of merging together. It's just some heavy downpours. So Fort Payne, Rome, Somerville, Lafayette, Calhoun, Dalton, heavy rain, lightning, but right now not a severe nature. Okay, those are all staying below severe levels. This is the cell we're mainly focused on right now. Yeah, lightning production with that one has been up and down. It's there was quite a bit. They go away like it has now. There's not much lightning with it now, but there was a few minutes ago. So we'll see if that, if there are any terrain factors here as it transverses the plateau. Sometimes it can help accelerate the wind a little bit. It doesn't really diminish them. Sometimes the gaps in those valley pockets can accelerate the wind. So we're about a minute and a half from the start of our newscast, in which we'll start a whole new update on this storm. But that's what we're looking at now, the storm itself, right along the Franklin-Marion County border. And it's just it's south of Mount Eagle. Looks to be south of the 24 split also. So there's the split right there. Okay. Where it goes around the rock. All right. So probably saying just south of there. So once past the startup Mount Eagle on the south side of it, that's where all the way to South Pittsburgh and Kimball, that's where it's going to get pretty strong for a while. So I think it's going to avoid Mount Eagle and avoid Swanee. All right, stand by as we start our newscast. All right. You can opt to watch us here on the live stream or go to Fox Chattanooga. Also streaming foxchattanooga.com. We got you covered. All right. Stand by, everybody.
I've managed to.
Yeah, we're watching this one hail-producing storm, which has prompted a severe thunderstorm warning now for Marion County. It's right on the Marion-Franklin border, and that new warning is out till 10:45 Eastern, 9:45 Central. We're also live streaming at the moment on our social media platforms, so we're multitasking here, but it's all because of this storm right here that, again, could be producing hail about the size of a quarter right near Orem and near Sherwood, still producing some lightning as well. And so far, it has shown no signs of weakening just yet. I'll put a quick tracker on here to show you where it's moving. It's the only severe cell locally at the moment, but the movement is northeast at about 25 miles an hour. So it could encompass a large part of Marion County over the next hour, even parts of Hamilton County, say during the 11 o'clock hour, even Signal Mountain just before 11 o'clock. Powell's Crossroad around 10:49. These are all Eastern time. Jasper around 10:20 Eastern. And South Pittsburgh in the next few minutes as it draws closer. Now, these aren't the only storms going on. That's the strongest one. Farther south, we've got a lot of heavy downpours. It's pretty noisy from, say, Lafayette to Fort Payne to Somerville, but none of these are severe. Pretty noisy, but not like the one that we're seeing here in parts of Marion County. We're going to continue our live stream. Feel free to join us on our YouTube channel, on Facebook, on X. But for now, we're going to break away turn it back over to you guys, and we'll come back for the forecast in just a few minutes. Okay, and as we continue our live stream right now, this is what we're looking at here. We're still looking at that cell now crossing squarely into Marion County. Now let's check the hail tracker on that. And there you can see the hail core down a bit. That's an encouraging sign. Let me zoom out and you can see the path of that hail. See, it's down just a bit. That's what we like to see because it was pretty large right here. And there it goes. Just kind of back it up. Watch the timeline. You can see this is around 9:37, about 20 minutes ago, north of High Top, southern Franklin. And the hail core kind of breaking down just a little bit. Will that trend continue? We'll have to see. We hope so. We hope that weakening trend continues. All right. Put our polygons back on here. There we go. And let's look at the velocity scan. Looking at the wind. And you can see still some gusts there, 40 miles an hour. So still pretty strong gusts coming into the western part of Franklin County. Excuse me, Marion County. Coming out of eastern Franklin into western Marion. So that is a tiny area being impacted, but it's very impactful, the storm itself. Still a couple of lightning strikes over the past 5 minutes right here. All of this is just west of I-24. Here's Orem. Here's South Pittsburgh. It's probably going to go just north of South Pitt. You're probably going to get some of the heavier downpours with it. But that core right there, passing just south of the split, going around Mount Eagle on 24, and probably right over Jasper. Right over Jasper. We'll see if that hail core continues to weaken a bit. Reflectivity still there, where it's, that pink shading, but it seems to be getting a little smaller. Okay, that little high area of reflectivity is getting a little bit smaller. Hopefully, we'll see that thing get a little bit weaker. And again, look at that. Well, that thing just fell apart, didn't it? That's good to see. So again, the storm that was approaching the western part of Franklin, which was producing half-dollar size hail, no more. It is now approaching western Franklin. There is an advisory, but not a warning. So this one ending its threat. That's good. That's good. But now we got all this heavy rain. Look at that. Fort Payne, Somerville, Lafayette. Pretty noisy around Lafayette, Mentone. Over to the Mountain Cove area there, Southern Walker, Tryon, Menlo. Again, this is noisy. It is not severe, okay? Just please understand that. Anticipate more rain coming toward Lafayette, Villanelle, Dalton, Resaca, Calhoun. But again, it's going to be some pretty good solid downpours. But watch the motion of all of this. That trend is now, again, still this general direction. And you can see the back edge of this near the main cold front. That's moving more. I tell you, this computer's playing games with me tonight. I'm trying to get my cursor. There we go. You see that starting to move more southeast. And that's right along the main front. Those are moving more this way, not due east. So really locally, all we're dealing with is that cell right there. That's over Marion. Let's see if it can weaken a bit or holds together. But you go north of the city, there's not going to be a whole lot going on north of the city. It's all south. Okay, so a sharp drop off north to south. And there's the front itself. That's why you see that trend to the southeast like that. The front's pushing it all along. So we've got that one cell kind of reacting to the low pressure there just north of the front, helping produce that one little cell that's still producing the severe aspect. Otherwise, with everything there along that front, everything is pushing away, okay? And the severe aspect kind of breaking down. So it's going to be pretty rainy south of the city, but notice again, not much north of the city, a whole lot to the south, but again, that's just rain and lightning. It's not severe. Haven't checked the temperatures out there. Let's see. They haven't moved much at all with the south wind blowing. Yeah, in the 50s. A little bit of cooling going on, which cooler air can really stabilize things. Like if the more that storm right here moves more north and east, it's getting to that cooler air. It may help stabilize that storm. That could be what's happening here. Because that other one, as it approached Western Franklin, it was running into cooler air. So it went from a pretty warm air mass where it originated into a cooler one to where it kind of just diminishes. So let's just see if that trend continues. I mean, it's the 40s, Pikeville, Crossville, 50s everywhere else. And eventually overnight, as that front continues moving away, we'll draw back to the 40s by morning. And again, I posted this earlier. If you don't already follow me on social media, you get updates when we live stream. We've been doing this for years. Got a YouTube channel, Facebook Live, TikTok, Instagram, on X. That's where you can find me. Most of you have signed up and followed me for years. If not, come on in. Let's see if they put out an update on this morning here. Is there another update? No, it's the same one. So still that part of Marion County, that warning out until, was it 9:45 Eastern? Yeah, 9:45 Eastern, 10:45. Sorry, 10:45 Eastern, 9:45 Central. I'll get it. Growing up, we call it fast time and slow time. So. Core that storm right now. Heaviest rain moved through Sherwood, down just north of Orem, and just about to cross I-24. Right there. I am seeing, again, further signs of that core shrinking a bit. We're not seeing the deep white pink shading, the higher reflectivity. It's not quite as pronounced as it once was. I'll back it up just a little bit. You'll see how just a few minutes ago near Sherwood, you said the white, the pink, and now that core getting a little smaller. So some very heavy rain, but let's see if that trend continues. Does it collapse? Is it running into that cool air, stabilizing things? We'll have to wait and see. But still, Potential for strong gusts, and hail continues. And you can see the downpours approaching South Pittsburgh. I think the core of that storm stays just north of South Pittsburgh. North of Orem, I think it'll move just close to Jasper if it holds together over the next 30 minutes. And probably and near Whitwell also, because it's kind of moving in that east-northeast direction like that. Okay. Then we got to join our live broadcast here in a second. This is called a tease for the break. So you're watching behind the scenes and what we're doing on air and what we're doing here in the live stream. Yeah, I'm seeing that reflect. You see that? Look at that white and pink coming back. See? So still some hail in there. Still some hail in that cell. So still worthy of that warning right now. We're about to join the broadcast here momentarily. So I gotta stand by. You see that right there, that reflectivity.
I think that's the right call.
I was thinking that it was removable, but I didn't speak out that much.
It's okay. At least we got it, you know?
Yeah.
And up next in weather, we're watching this severe cell right here approaching I-24 just south of Mount Eagle. It is moving north and east, and this severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect for Marion County until 10:45 Eastern, 9:45 Central. We're tracking it here on Fox Chattanooga and on our live streams. I'll have an update coming up after the break. Still see the hail there showing up between a half inch to an inch size, so about nickel size to quarter size. So still a hail producing storm for sure. So again, the only warning locally is that one for Marion and that little sliver of Sequatchie County. Everybody else, again, I just want to show you again, Lafayette, Fort Payne, Henniger, Galesville, Tryon, Lyerly, Somerville, Amerchie, Rome, Calhoun. It's raining and there's thunder and lightning, but I don't want that to scare you. Okay. I know lightning, thunder can make things sound scary, but none of this is severe. This is a really noisy system coming by, but none of this is severe in nature. Pretty loud, a lot of downpours, keeping the kids awake, waking up the pets. I get that, but not severe. And again, it's going to be sharply different north of the city between south of the city. North of the city, we're basically just dealing with that one lone cell and some light showers around it. All this other heavy rain is south of the state line. That's the area that's going to have the heavy rain tonight, at least for the next few hours, not all night long. All right, once again, we'll be joining our Fox Chattanooga newscast in a second, and we'll talk about, we'll go through all the forecast details here. Going through the rest of the night on into the weekend where things are looking Much warmer, much more spring-like. Looking on another screen here at it. It's amazing the cell is not being pinpointed as a severe cell. And the tops of the storms are actually coming down a little bit. So it is showing some signs of weakening there, at least on this screen I'm looking at here. Not reflected too much there on the live radar screen, but we'll see what happens over the next 30, 45 minutes. The other one back behind it, as you notice right here, as I mentioned earlier, has weakened. That one's gone bye-bye. All right, I'm going to join our newscast here momentarily. Well, it's been a busy night across the Tennessee Valley. We're still live streaming on our social media channels and our YouTube channel as well. And here's a live update right now. This is the one strong cell locally that's prompted the severe thunderstorm warning out from Marion County till 10:45 Eastern. All this other activity down here is noisy, but it's not severe. But nevertheless, be aware of some very heavy downpours, a lot of lightning. It's loud, producing loud claps of thunder. Fort Payne, Somerville, Lafayette, Calhoun. It's going to be like that between now and midnight. But the one severe cell, and it's one cell that's right there, is just to the south and west of Jasper, just to the west of South Pittsburgh, actually just north of South Pittsburgh, and right along I-24, right near the split where it goes around Mount Eagle. This cell is small, but you see that high reflectivity right there? It could be producing some hail about the size of a quarter, at least fluctuating between a nickel and a quarter, and right along 24. A little bit of lightning with that cell as well, and it's rapidly moving off to the north and east, well, roughly at about 30 miles an hour. So until 10:45 or so, this polygon is going to hold. That warning is in effect. But let me show you a track on this for the next, say, hour and show you where it's going to move. It continues in the same movement to the north and east. It could slide into portions of Hamilton County as well. So just be aware of that. Some Signal Mountain, Walden, south of Dunlap, Whitwell area. This overall timeline over the next hours, that storm slides to the east. Again, it could produce some lightning, some hail with that, and some very heavy downpours of rain. Now, if you look back at all the storm reports over the past several hours, all these blue dots are hail reports. And so many that came out of North Alabama. That one tornado report in Jefferson County, that was earlier on this afternoon, but that's where it was. It's been limited to that area. So we're not seeing the same storms that produce the tornadoes, but basically the same cold front producing the storms that we're seeing right now. And the main cold front itself is going to produce all this very heavy rain south of the city for the next couple of hours. But as the front slides down to the south and east, we'll see all the rain kind of moving away in that general direction, more southeast. So next several hours, wet and noisy south of the city. North of the city, well, not so much. There's a short-term radar which shows you that basically after midnight, everything starts moving away fairly rapidly to the south and east. So not lasting all night long. Our future track shows a similar scenario. Right, 11 o'clock, just after midnight, rain starts moving out. First thing in the morning, a little foggy, chilly temperatures 30s and mid 40s, but by late day Friday, look at that sunshine back in 60s. Saturday morning, little fog early again, but late day Saturday, we get sunshine and temperatures in the low 70s. Not a bad way to end the month of February. So things are a lot calmer tomorrow. Watch for the fog early. You need the jackets early, but not late day with highs reaching the upper 60s. Look at that 7-day forecast. It's a beautiful one. Highs in the 70s over the weekend. We'll see just a few showers Monday, Tuesday, lots of clouds, a little cooler Tuesday, and hold on to that warmth all the way through next week. And we're back. So hopefully that gave you an idea of what we're seeing area-wide tonight. Again, that's our main focus is that cell right there, cell of hail producer. And currently it is right over Smithtown, Comfort, just to the west of Jasper, west of Sequatchie, right between I-24 and 41. That's its current movement. At the very least, heavy rain with that. Now, let's also move to the south a bit where it's pretty noisy. I don't want anyone scared of these. These are not scary. They're scary sounding, but these are not severe. But very heavy rain, lightning, just stay inside, remember, just lightning safety. We've got a couple of lightning strikes already showing up. There it is near Lafayette, South Lafayette, Somerville. Here's Fort Payne, Mentone over here, Menlo over here, Tryon over here, Rome getting heavy rain, Dalton, Calhoun, Chatsworth, all getting some heavy rain. It's all moving east and southeast, so I do anticipate Calhoun, Ellijay, Chatsworth, even Dalton getting some lightning and rain, but I think the heaviest may stay just south of Dalton, south of Chatsworth. I don't think Dalton or Chatsworth is going to be impacted by this cell right here. We'll just see how much it holds together. It is encouraging that this is the leader, this is the one behind it. This one kind of fell apart. But this one, man, it's holding together. It's amazing. That's why weather fascinates me. I hope no one's having any damage from this hail, but it is fascinating to watch this move through. So let's see Juanita saying heavy rain and wind in Battle Creek area. Okay. Appreciate that. I don't want you going outside. If you can give me kind of an estimate, can you take a peek out the window, see what maybe approximate size of that hail a little bit? We can, so Juanita says, yeah, it's pretty scary. Okay. Don't go out there and look. Just let this thing move by, because it's also being forced down by very heavy rain. So it's making it very loud with that. And hail, of course, when it pings in the window, pings on the roof, is loud. So yeah, don't go outside. She said that's in the Battle Creek area there in Marion County. So that's approaching Jasper. So here's Highway 41. Here's I-24. And that's where you see most of that hail right there. All right, so Juanita says the ground is white there right now from this hail in Marion County. She approximates the size to be quarter size. All right, thanks, Juanita. Stay safe. All right, don't take any pictures. Don't put yourself in danger out there. But I appreciate the report. So still a hail producer and worthy of this warning. Yeah, that thing is not weakening. It looked like on radar a little bit of weakening a little while ago, but it is holding together. It is holding together for sure. Let's put another tracker on here, because basically, if it continues moving this direction, it's going to go outside this polygon. And so heads up in parts of Sequatchie, heads up especially Hamilton County. All right. Here's an approximate movement. Thankfully, this time that didn't slide off the screen, this map here. So note again, Central versus Eastern time. Okay. So Jasper in the next few minutes, right now, actually. Okay. Whitwell, about 9:43 Central. That's 10:43 Eastern. Signal Mountain just before the top of the hour. Possibly near Soddy Daisy. Right along, 27 there, around 11:20 Eastern, if it holds together. So it's right over Jasper now, is just north of South Pittsburgh. Still producing quarter-size hail potentially. And this warning is out here until at least 10:45 Eastern, 9:45 Central. We'll see if there's an extension of anything for Sequatchie and Hamilton County. But I have a feeling it probably will be, at the very least, an advisory there. But that's an approximate timeline coming up here. Notice again, Central versus Eastern time, which would take it north of Chattanooga. Okay. So Jasper, Whitwell, Signal Mountain, Walden, Powell's Crossroad, Soddy Daisy. Let's keep an eye on that. I think it'll stay just south of Dunlap. And again, all other areas are Resaca, Calhoun, Tryon, Lyerly, Fort Payne, Fife, Collinsville. It is all rain. It is all rain and lightning. It is not severe. Not severe. Okay. You can see even heavier rain farther south. Approaching the I-20 corridor, weakening back in here. That other cell moving through Franklin weakened, the one that came out of Lincoln County. But that one's still holding on in Marion. We've been tracking that thing since it was in Huntsville. We're about to go on air on Fox Chattanooga one more time here. I'll have to be in standby mode. So since we got to go on here in just a second, I'm going to hold the radar where it is right now. Again, we've had a report, Juanita there in Marion County reporting quarter-size hail covering the ground. So this is still a severe storm producing that hail. And we're about to provide an update now from Fox Chattanooga. Yeah, this storm here in Marion County has been producing still some quarter-size hail. It's a small storm, but impactful. Very heavy rain around Jasper. And right, we see that purple shading there, that high reflectivity. That's where some of that hail could be coming down. Right between I-24, Highway 41, and moving farther north and east. That warning right there, that polygon, that is out till 10:45 Eastern, 9:45 Central. But keep in mind, the more it holds together and continues moving north and east, at about 25 to 30 miles an hour, well, heads up in parts of Sequatchie and parts of Hamilton County. Look at this tracker here. As I move this over the next hour, this is where it could be moving. So watch the timeline here. And again, over the next few minutes, Powell's Crossroad around 10:45 Eastern. At the top of the hour, 11 o'clock near Red Bank. Around 11:15 to 11:20 near Soddy Daisy. So these areas heads up in Hamilton and neighboring parts of Sequatchie County for this cell that is a hail producer not far from Jasper. I'll update you on that and about more activity, which is below severe levels, but awfully noisy south of the city. That's moving due east. A very rainy couple of hours coming up. All right, let's look at the hail. I'm going to see this in my sleep tonight. Yeah, that hail, it's amazing. You see it? It's like, where's Waldo? It's right there. But again, higher terrain could be masking it, the reason why it's not reflecting it as much. But based on the reflectivity alone, it still could be producing hail. Especially right in there. So we'll continue watching that. There again is all that rain south of the city. But again, none of that is severe. Looking on this screen, the echo top of that storm in Marion County is coming down a bit, so that's good. But that thing has defied logic for the past hour or so. Until it weakens, we don't want to let our guard down. Yeah, even on this other, I'm looking at a separate radar view that's different from this one because we have another computer here. It's showing that hail core just north of Jasper, and it is like this computer was showing that it is smaller, not quite as pronounced as it once was. So that's a good thing. So let's see if that trend continues. It's a little bit different for the past hour. We've seen it kind of fluctuate where it kind of died down, came back, died down again. Let's just hope that that continues. Let's see. Tatia says a downpour in Jasper. And yes, excuse me. At the very least, we're getting heavy rain, especially we see that darker shading right there, but this could also have a little bit of hail with it north of Jasper. Still some very heavy rain with that. Torrential downpours. We'll check the velocity scan of the wind. Strongest gusts look like just north of Jasper along 41. I'll point it out right here. The radius of the national radar kind of playing games with me here, but it's right in here where you could be seeing still some strong gusts from Sequatchie, right along 41 and just north of Jasper. So that's where some very strong gusts could be. Now we're getting just plain old rain in the city right now. Not too heavy, light to moderate downpours. Trenton, Kensington, Chickamauga, Rossville, Fort Oglethorpe, Ringgold. But you get south of Dalton, south of Lafayette. Oh, it's pretty heavy. But that's all it is. It's just rain and lightning. Not severe, but not good for travel. But it'll all be gone over the next several hours. I'll take that radar out right there. There we go. Again, you can see everything now trending more toward the east and southeast. All of this, that squall line there, we're not going to deal with. That's moving away. So once we get this front pushing a little farther south and east, it's going to start pulling this rain away. So the lows along the front that are zipping along it are kind of energizing things. They help create some of the storms. But for the most part, more of the energy lies along and south of the front. The only thing that's not following that rule is that one cell right there in Marion County. But everything else is below severe levels, a little stronger down in here, but all that's moving away. Again, we appreciate you staying with us on the live stream tonight as we keep you updated to get us not impacting everybody. But it's indeed a pretty nasty little cell. Very heavy rain noted by our viewers in Jasper, just southwest of there in parts of Marion, parts of Jasper, some quarter-size hail. Now, Tatia, who told me it was raining heavily, telling me also they're getting some hail there in Jasper. So that is verifying there. Where you see the high reflectivity right in here, right along and just east of 41, right near Sequatchie. So here's Sequatchie, Victoria, Nicholtown. This is where you're probably seeing the better hail chance. Right along, just east now of Highway 41 and just west of Highway 28, right here. Not as much lightning as before, but it's holding together. So it is fighting the cooler air that's trying to stabilize the storm a bit. But again, if you're north of the city, there's not, other than this one lone cell, everybody else fairly quiet. Okay. And then everybody south of the city, pretty noisy. Okay. So this is the same front that brought us the rain earlier on today, but it stalled. And when it stalled, low pressure developed along it, prolonged the rain, and allowed for some stronger storms to develop. So anytime those fronts stall, that causes some problems. And that's what we've seen tonight. So comment on our YouTube channel. John says that I am here right now and I'm hungry. Yeah. Okay. Well, grab a snack, buddy. Watch our live stream. It's almost midnight snack time anyway, right? About an hour and a half. But I appreciate you watching. But again, just to point out, severe, yes. Severe, no. This is just noisy south. This is the strongest cell right there. Okay, we'll be going on air on Fox Chattanooga here in just a second for another update. If there's hail, it'll be right in here. Right in there. Very heavy rain, Jasper, a little bit hail, and a little bit more right in here. Kind of pivoting now north and east. So heads up in Whitwell. The next few minutes as it moves quickly your way. Look at this other screen. Yeah, still right there. Still some hail. And we're still tracking this hail-producing storm right here between Jasper and Whitwell moving north and east. This is the outline of the severe thunderstorm warning. However, be aware, parts of Hamilton, parts of Sequatchie, as that storm moves farther north and east, that storm could be affecting Red Bank, Signal Mountain, Walden over the next half hour. We'll track this storm for you and other showers and storms going on to the south. Your full 7-day forecast coming up. You can see on the screen behind me. All right, so we're going to do another update here for Fox Chattanooga. There again is all the reports for today. All the hail reports. Let's go ahead and take a look at the temperatures again. Yeah, I mentioned some stabilizing factors with the cooler air, but still, yeah, you don't really run into, the more you get into Sequatchie, well, Whitwell's down a bit, kind of cooler at 52, 45 Pikeville. So let's see if there's any effect there. But so far, nothing. It is a little bit cooler the farther northeast it goes. So we'll have to see if there's any stabilizing factor there in that cell as we move northeast. All right, here we go. Now, Hamilton County now put under an advisory. So let me show what this is. That's a special weather statement until 11:30 for Hamilton, Marion, Sequatchie. Now, this may mean they may not extend the warning. So there could be some signs of weakening. So here's the special weather statement for Hamilton, Marion, and Sequatchie County till 11:30. Strong thunderstorm impacting southeastern Sequatchie, eastern Marion, and west central Hamilton County through 11:30 Eastern. The storm near Jasper is moving toward the northeast at 30. Could produce winds of 50 and half-inch diameter size hail. So that's starting to drop below severe levels. So we may be seeing the signs of it dropping below severe levels. So I think at 10:45, roughly the next 3 minutes, they'll probably drop this warning. They'll drop this warning, and this polygon here will take over. So they're indicating some weakening going on. Now, still, 50-mile-an-hour wind, that's still pretty strong, okay? Super wind-driven rain can be pretty heavy. And also, the hail, half-inch in diameter, still pretty strong also, okay? But not quite as pronounced as it once was a little while ago. So I think that's the reason why Morristown is putting out an advisory, the step just below a warning, so probably not extending the warning. We'll see if that holds, okay? But that's a good sign. It's a good sign. Now I'm looking at this other screen here. That system is so tiny, but man, it is. It's been putting down the hail, heavy rain, noisy, and then everything else south is just flat out rain, heavy rain at that, but not severe. Again, we'll be doing another update, full forecast coming up in a few moments here on Fox Chattanooga. So we'll be joining them momentarily. I'm in standby mode watching looking at this other radar screen here. I got 3 different monitors going all around, but I don't want to, I've got this one preset for going on the air. I don't want to mess that up. So I have a feeling as I'm doing the broadcast for Fox Chattanooga, I have a feeling this box will expire and what we'll be left with is this advisory. So we hope that trend that they're projecting continues. Still strong, but if the weakening trend continues, that's a good thing. There it went. So that warning has now expired. So we'll see if this advisory holds. If it's still strong, they may, in fact, issue another warning. But for now, they haven't, but we'll wait and see. They do a good job there in Morristown. And it's still a hail-producing storm, but maybe not to the same size, the threshold for severe. So in about 1 minute, we'll be joining the broadcast one more time. So again, that weather statement, that's out to 11:30. That's a step below a warning, just so you know. So the warning is expired. Still a special weather statement for these areas. And we're going to go through all the details here just momentarily when we join the broadcast. Just a few seconds away. "15 seconds away. Well, let's start with a little bit of good news. This is now no longer a severe thunderstorm warning. The storm gradually weakening just a bit, but this is still what's known as a special weather statement, meaning the storm could still produce gusts up to 50 and hail about the size half inch in diameter, about the size of a nickel. Okay. So that's below the severe threshold, but still one that could be very impactful. The storm itself has shown just a little bit of weakening, but still producing some hail and very heavy rain right along just between Jasper and Whitwell, moving north and east roughly at around 30 miles an hour. So that special weather statement does encompass areas of parts of Sequatchie and parts of Hamilton County. So we're going to do a quick outline. This is going to be its movement over the next hour, moving in that northeasterly direction. So if you're in this swath that I'm projecting here, this is just where you could expect very heavy rain for a brief while, the chance for at least some small hail, and even some lightning and thunder. So Red Bank just after the top of the hour, 11 o'clock. Whitwell in the next few minutes. Soddy Daisy around 11:23. Bakewell around 11:40 if it all holds together. That's been the strongest storm locally at the moment. There's other rain going on, but I want you to notice something. North of the city, there's not much. All we're going to have to be dealing with is what's left of that system there in Marion. South of the city, there's quite a bit, but none of this is severe. It's all very noisy from Fort Payne to Calhoun, Lafayette, Dalton, southern parts of Walker County, very heavy rain, a lot of lightning, loud claps of thunder, but none of that is severe. Thankfully, we're seeing other showers and storms ongoing to the north and west of us, but all of that is moving south and east, being pushed by a cold front. So this is not something that's going to last all night long. The front that brought us the rain earlier today, well, it went stationary. And as these areas of low pressure developed along it, it pushed your rain back our way. That's why we're seeing the storms this evening instead of clearing out. But eventually, as this low does pull away, we're going to see all of this start moving away and things improving gradually over the next few hours, not lasting all night long. High-res model shows after midnight, things clearing out pretty quickly to the south and east. In fact, our in-house model shows the same thing. After 11 o'clock, shower storms quickly moving out. So by tomorrow morning, it's all a memory. Streets will be wet, but do beware of some patchy fog in the morning. Temperatures in the 40s early, seeing highs in the 60s with sunshine later in the day and beautiful weather coming up for the weekend. So here's your planner for Friday. Patchy fog early, then sunny to partly sunny, highs reaching into the 60s. Notice the final day of February and the start of March has highs in the low 70s. So March is going to come in like a lamb. You know what that means? Some rough weather eventually during the month, but not in the next 7 days. Just a few showers Monday, Tuesday, a little cooler Tuesday. The temperature's back in the 70s toward the middle of next week. All right, folks, with that cell now below severe levels, okay, we're going to end our live stream for now, okay, because no other warnings. So we're going to end this live stream, but I'm going to continue our live broadcast coming up on News Channel 9, also streaming on newschannel9.com. But just to go over again what we're seeing, this cell is gradually weakening, but it is still producing some very heavy rain, some small hail, and wind gusts. We'll continue to watch that. You live north of Chattanooga, with the exception of what's left of that cell, most areas not going to see much the rest of the night. Crossville, Athens, I think you're going to be pretty much fine, except for maybe a few showers left over from this system. South of the city, you're seeing heavy rain, repeated rounds, lots of lightning, but for the most part, it's not severe. But in Dalton, Chatsworth, Lafayette, Somerville, Calhoun, Rome, it's going to be a little noisy for a while, but again, not of a severe nature. We're watching things. If need be, we'll rejoin the live stream, but for now, we're going to break away from this. But join me on News Channel 9 and newschannel9.com for our broadcast starting in just a few minutes, top of the hour, 11 o'clock. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, and we'll see you again in a few minutes.